Hare Krishna, dear devotees. This is Radhika Devidasi from the beautiful farms of Neelachal Vedic village. Let's continue with the stories from where we left it. Grade 2. Children are more animalistic in nature. They want to understand things from, they connect more with animals. Children connect more with animals, and then they want to, they behave like animals. So it is a good idea to give them stories from Panchatantra tales, story of Hare and the Tortoise. So lesson story, the fables, Aesop's fables, there are so many fables. So these stories, they use animals to have personal qualities. They personify the animals, and that's more relatable to the children. Also, at this age, the child is starting to, be deceptive. सेकेंड ग्रेड में बच्चे झूठ बोलना सीखते हैं, थोड़ा थोड़ा वो धोखा देना सीखते हैं, बातें छुपाना सीखते हैं. सो दे हैव स्टार्टेड टू, देयर ईगो इज डेवलपिंग नाउ एंड दे स्टार्ट टू डू ऑल दीज टाइनी माइनी थिंग्स विच आर डिसेप्टिव इन नेचर. So at this age, what you can do is you can also introduce saints. Why we introduce saints? Some good saints. You can talk about Haridas Thakur, Mirabai, Saint Francis, or whatever. You introduce saints who have especially suffered, some opposition. They have suffered, they were ridiculed for what they were doing. And when you talk about these saints, what will this happen? So no matter, the path of goodness is difficult, but you have to always strive to talk good. So second grade, 8 years, 7 to 8 years is a time where you give them saint stories, animal stories, the lesson stories, the Panchatantra stories, because these stories are going to create some scars. They are going to create impressions, and these impressions are going to last long. And you don't have to worry कि रोज एक नया story कहाँ से लेकर आओ. You can repeat the story. Children don't remember it. So today I told them a story. In fact, छोटे बच्चे तो रोज जब तक you may have seen that children tend to ask for same stories again and again and again. They ask you to repeat it. So when they ask you to repeat a story again and again and again, why do they do that? Because they want to fully perceive it, and every time they listen to a story, they will understand. You can repeat one story for almost a month, maybe like 15 days at least minimum. You can repeat a story 10-15 times. You can tell the same story. So you really don't need 365 stories. 100 stories would do for 2 years. And you have so many stories. You don't need to. Sometimes you can create your own story, but you need to understand what is the age group, and accordingly you have to share. Bhagavad stories, they are so powerful. They impact all ages. Start with Bhagavatam. Select stories. There are so many stories in there which will help your children at different ages, different stages of life. So you can start with Bhagavatam stories at any age, but just be mindful how much to share, how much to discuss. You have to be a little careful about it. It should not be overwhelming, neither should it be underwhelming to the child. Okay, so second grade, it's about animal Panchatantra stories and about saint stories. This is also a time when they connect with nature. So you can introduce nature stories of creation, life cycles, because they are perceiving the questions of birth and death, how life is. Because abhi human form samajh mein aa gaya hai. Once they have an understanding of human form, next they want to know is like, what is life, what is death, and all that. So a easy way to introduce it, is through nature stories. Life cycle of a butterfly, life cycle of a plant, of a tree, of a flower, of a fruit, of anything. You look around, you'll find stories, especially here in the farm. You look around and earthworm, so many. Research it, study it, and then present it as a story. Little work, but it will help your child so much. And when you tell nature stories, life cycle, water cycle, so many cycles are there, that you can talk stories about. How plants create fruit, how plants create their own food, how photosynthesis happens, what is chlorophyll. You can, depending on the child's understanding, you can give the terminology or explain it in simple terms. Like even at 3, you can talk about water cycle. How? So when Mother Earth was very thirsty, she went to pray to Indradev, and Indradev ordered all the clouds. So the clouds, with the help of sun's heat, they evaporated. They sucked with big straws. Sun provided them with big hot straws. So all the clouds took, they drank water from the oceans and rivers, and then they filled the cloud, and wherever Mother Earth was thirsty, they poured rain. And that is why we have rain after summer, because summer means all the clouds are drinking water from the ocean. That's why it gets hot. And when the rain started, when the monsoon comes, so much water they give, more than they drink, they give us waters. You can talk about simple way में भी आप cycles, water cycle बता सकते हो, simple way में भी आप चीजें समझा सकते हो. And then when they old enough, you can talk about the evaporation, condensation, precipitation, how soil erosion happens, what are the different layers of soil, all depending on your child's intelligence and their level. Okay, so you don't have to rush, nor you make it too simple also. So depending on what is working for you, at what age you are, at what age your child is, you can give all these cycle stories. So second grade is an ideal place where they want to really understand how the nature is working. So you can talk about Prakriti as from a philosophical point of view. You can say how Mother Nature is nothing but Radharani's external energy, and how she's nourishing us. That is why we call her Mother. It's all Radharani's mercy. You can talk about it like that, and still connect them to Krishna consciousness. Understand, teaching, whatever you're teaching, everything should be directed to Krishna consciousness. Understand it more in different sections. So before we proceed, I would like to make this tiny request. If you really like this content, please hit that like button. It just takes not even a second of your time. You can do it right now. And please share it with others if you think this is going to help them, and please subscribe to it so that you don't miss any content. And let me know if you have any more ideas, if you have any questions for me, if you want me to talk about a certain topic, anything. It can be anything that you want to talk about, that it may be just personal to you, but you never know, somebody else may benefit from that question. So please feel free to let me know what you want me to talk about. Okay, I'll definitely make sure that I cover it. Thank you so much. Let's move on. So now, once they have understood life, we can talk about, they want to understand. So second gear, nourishingly, अच्छे से जी भर के उनको बोल दो. Slowly they will start questioning you. Where did we come from? How did we come on earth? At age 9, that is approximately 3rd grade, children feel separation from Krishna. They feel they are separated. They know they are separated. They know they were connected to something very powerful, and now they are separated. And this separation is usually translated in forms of fear. You will observe your child has become more possessive. They want more of your attention. They are very moody. They are very cranky because now hormones have started to develop. So many things emotionally are happening. They are changing from their physical. Like up till now, 7-8 years, your child wanted to do more of activity. 8-9 onwards, they start becoming more lazy. Their bones are getting heavier, and they are getting more into their feelings. They feel hurt for a longer time. They hold on to a feeling for a longer time. So this is a very good time, because they are feeling so much separation, to take their mind to the creation stories. Give them creation stories at this age, how the world was created. You can go right into how Krishna expands his forms, do all Narayans, all the avatars, and how just through Mahavishnu, how we are getting the universes created, and how Brahma was created, and how so much you can spend an entire year doing creation stories. There is so much content. You can also explore how different shastras, like the Christian philosophy or Islamic philosophy, how they talk about creation, and how much, how you can correlate it with the Vedic Shastra if you want to. It's not required otherwise. The Vedic stories are enough. And because it's more encompassing. I remember when we were in church on our Sunday school once, Father, he came to us, and we were talking about death and afterlife experiences, and Father said that it's amazing how, because they have to study every scripture. So he said, if you really want to understand afterlife and reincarnation, you must study the Vedas, the Vedic scriptures, the Hindu Shastras, scriptures, they describe it in more detail. Not much information is available in other Shastras. So that was his recommendation ages ago. So our Shastras have lot of solid information about these topics, and you can talk 1 year about the creation stories. So that is about the 9th year. Now 10th year onwards, you can start giving them. They are more into like, 4th standard, 5th standard. You can talk about how victory, even in schools, you see Shivaji Maharaj stories is introduced around 4th standard. Why? Because we want to show that bravery is rewarding. We want to show them, we want to teach all these things, how to hold on, get a hold on their emotions, and how to channel these emotions, these energy into something constructive. So your stories should be about examples from historical figures. You can talk, not Prabhupada yet, Prabhupada is contemporary. So you can talk about more historical figures. You take Arjuna, you take Bhima, all these warriors, because life feels like a battle to them. And so what is the right thing to do? They will learn. You can deep dive into Bhagavad Gita. Of course, I'm not saying that you don't start Bhagavad Gita up till this age. But at this age, you deep dive into it. You sit with your children and talk philosophy now. So 10 plus, 9, 10 plus, they will have a more deeper perception of what is happening. What was Arjun's fear? Bhagavad Gita is a beautiful book to begin at this age. I mean, proper study of it, because they'll have such realization. It's really amazing how this age children, they bring out topics so beautifully. And you can deep dive into studying it and talking and discussing. It will be so much fun. Your family time, Bhagavad Gita reading time can be so beautiful and so nourishing to both of you as parents and as children. It's amazing when you study Bhagavad Gita. Simple. First chapter, second chapter, especially they'll be more attracted towards it when they are knowing how Arjun had so many questions and all the questions answered by none other than Krishna himself. So these are the exact questions your children are going to have about morality, about life decisions. They're going to come back again. But 9, 10 is also an age where they will start having these questions, Why should we do this? Why should we do the right thing? So all Bhagavad Gita is your book for 9, 10, 4th, 5th standard, okay? Let's take a stop here for today. And in the next session, we'll continue with some more stories, some more information about stories. Till then, Hare Krishna. Before you go, I would like to introduce this beautiful initiative started by Sevamurti Radhika Mataji from Vrindavan, whose main services in the Department of Child Protection. So she has started this storytelling for kids of different age groups. I've shared the details with you. Do check it out. It's a nice, beautiful bedtime story session, and Mataji tells amazing stories. We all enjoy it. Hare Krishna.